All right, today we're diving into something truly wild from the ancient epic, the Mahabharata. We're talking about one single terrifying event, a ritual of destruction that's almost impossible to wrap your head around. And the craziest part? It all started with a single curse. So let's just jump right into the thick of it. No context, just chaos. Picture this, a massive roaring fire. And from everywhere, literally everywhere, a river of living things is being sucked into the flames, screaming in terror. This is where we're starting. Okay, so what in the world is going on here? Well, the ancient text has a name for it. It calls this spectacle a reign of serpents. And that's not an exaggeration. This was mass destruction on a scale that's just epic. And when I say epic scale, I mean it. This is staggering. We're not talking about a few victims or even thousands. The text literally says millions upon millions were sacrificed. Just try to picture that number. It's so huge, it's almost meaningless, you know? It's just impossible to really grasp. And get this was a total, indiscriminate slaughter. The text is super clear. It didn't matter what color they were, white, black, blue, or if they were old or young. Every single one of them was consumed, swollen, panting, hissing, dragged into the fire. We're looking at an entire species on the brink of annihilation. Now, you might be thinking this was some kind of natural disaster, right? A forest fire, a volcano. But nope. This was deliberate, a controlled, calculated act. Which brings up the big question. What, or maybe more importantly, who could be behind something this awful? The answer? It was a ritual. A very specific, methodical, and completely unstoppable procedure. And what's so creepy about it is the way it was done, with this chilling calm, right in the middle of all that terror. Yeah, this is where it gets really unsettling. You have millions of creatures dying in absolute panic, right? But the priests running the show, they're described as being perfectly calm. They're just standing there in black robes, eyes red from the smoke, just doing their job. It's an incredible contrast. And this job of theirs was a very clear step-by-step process. First, put on the black robes. Then they pour ghee, that's clarified butter, into the fire. And while they're doing this, they're chanting these powerful incantations and speaking the actual names of the Nagas, these powerful serpent beings. And just saying their names was enough to start pulling them towards their death. So how did this even work? The magic behind it all was something called fel mantras. And these weren't just, prayers or something. These were dire incantations that had real physical power. The moment they were chanted, the serpents just lost all control of their bodies. They were pulled inexorably, that's the word the text uses, into the fire, completely against their will. So let's go back to the victims for a second. Let's try to understand what it must have felt like to be on the receiving end of that unstoppable summons. I mean, we're talking about a torrent of life being swallowed by flames. Can you even imagine that feeling? Just pure dread. The text says their hearts quailed in fright. So they knew what was happening. They felt it coming, and there was absolutely nothing they could do to stop it. And in those last moments, as they're being ripped from wherever they were hiding, they'd start twining around each other. You have to wonder, right? Was that for comfort? Were they trying to hold on? To resist? We don't know, but you can just feel the terror in that final, tangled mess. But no matter what they did, the end was always the same. It didn't matter how much they struggled, they all plunged headfirst into the fire. A brutal, inevitable end for every last one of them caught by that ritual. And we need to be clear here, we're not just talking about your average garden snakes. The text describes this incredible menagerie of powerful, almost mythical beings. I mean, just imagine, serpents shaped like horses, others as big as an elephant's trunk, some were as massive and strong as an entire elephant. And then you have some that were basically living weapons shaped like giant spiked maces. These were serious, powerful creatures. Okay, so we've covered the what and the how. We've seen the destruction and the ritual behind it, but that leaves the biggest question of all. Why? Why on earth would anyone do this? Why wipe out an entire race of incredible beings like that? Well, the origin story is just as shocking as the event itself. After all of this, all the epic destruction, the fire, the magic, the sheer terror. The reason given in the text is so simple. And honestly, it's absolutely chilling. Ready for this? Here it is. All of it. The fire, the priests, millions upon millions dead. It was all because of a mother's curse. An ancient grudge. Words spoken in anger by their own mom, Kadru, ended up sealing their fate generations down the line. The ritual was just the weapon. The real cause was a curse. And that just leaves you thinking, doesn't it? In a world where a ritual has this kind of insane power, where it can pull millions to their death, what does that say about the weight of a single word, a single curse? It really seems to suggest that in this world, a word spoken with real intent, well, that carried the full weight of destiny.